Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. Militiaman and Crew is here, and here's one of our famous crew members, Ophelia. She's a longtime fan of mine. Well, I'm a fan of her too. Hey, anyway, she's getting older, but she still comes in and she likes to have attention, and it's fascinating to see the other kiddies. Wally and Winnie, they love her. I mean, it's really truly amazing. It's good stuff. So anyway, but we're gonna do some Dinar, and I'm gonna let her do her thing. Well, it's always good to see Ophelia join us, but listen, hey, there's some articles that we're gonna go over. I wanted to say that, you know what, everybody, one of the things that we do here is to try to bring hope and confidence to people to know what they own. Confidence is important in trading and having investment. You really do need to understand and know what you own, and so that you don't have to worry. And I don't like to see anybody worry, and I don't like to worry. But anyway, interestingly enough, confidence is a big thing. And one of the things I think you guys get from me, if you probably know me by now after quite a few videos, I feel confident in my study. Obviously there's ups and downs. I've gone through some trials and tribulations over the last 20 years that had me challenged, right? And we all go through those challenges. I don't care if it's, not being able to pay a bill and have to put things off. I mean, everybody's probably been through some of that. 2008, 2010, 2012. I was in the real estate market. I get it. I get it today, you guys. Businesses change, they ebb and flow, and sometimes, unfortunately, society and our system of what we use to get through economically in this country can be painful. We have ups and downs. We have mountain systems and all those different things. But anyway, bottom line is, I do believe I know that there's a lot of people out there struggling, and for all of you, I send my best wishes and my prayers. But I do feel that there's hope, and that's why I try to keep my site with Patreon, with Militiaman and Crew, our Discord chat room. We try to keep it as positive as possible, because if you really want to see some news, you guys can Google news and get some bad stuff all the time. I don't focus in on it because it doesn't do me any good, doesn't do you any good, and I could really probably get really negative. If you guys wanted me to do a segment on negativity, I could probably do a really good one, and you might be depressed for like weeks, because there's a lot of it out there. But I don't need to focus on that. I focus in on the hope, and I focus on you and giving you guys good quality information that I feel should stimulate us in a way that is beneficial for everybody. Okay, so the Dinar. Why am I with the Dinar? Well, again, it's a long time study. You guys can see that collectively that I've been picking out little bits and pieces, and one of the things that caught my eye today is it's not intense like the last few days have been really intense, but al-Sudani discusses some things with solder. Well, if you know who al-Sadr is, he can put 1 million people in the streets in a matter of minutes, almost days. That's a true statement. But he's been awfully quiet, and I think one of the reasons why al-Sadr, he's a cleric, and he has a street following that means something, because the street over there is all the some of the younger populations, some of the poorer populations, but they believe in him. He was definitely a rogue. He was a patriot of his own country. He proved that during the Gulf Wars and such. And his background, the street likes him. Give him kudos where that belongs. As far as our personal opinions in the United States of America and Great Britain, to me, that's, hey, I'm not saying that just because there's bloodshed happened. That's all there was to it. But on a bright side, he's for his people. He is a patriot, and I think he and Sudani, the Prime Minister, have the same passion for helping the people, and they've been at it now for about 18 months, almost going on 2 years, and we see the results now of al-Sudani. So when I saw al-Sudani yesterday, meeting with al-Sadr, I went, whoa, okay, we haven't seen this yet. And at the time we're at right now, with the reforms coming down into the wire, It's all about the citizens and the services and getting things. And you're going to see there's an article or two out tonight that basically kind of give you guidance in the sense of the thought process of what they expect. I believe that Iraqi dinar is going to change value, and I believe that the citizens believe that too. I believe that al-Sudani has literally spoken those words, that be careful with the dinar. It's going to be stronger than the dollar. So he's said those things on a couple of occasions. And also realize, though, that there's certain things they talk about. They tell you that there's certain laws in place that it's effectively illegal to trade commercially in the US dollar within the country. Okay, now converting currencies to from one another to what other countries is one thing, and depending on where that money is coming from is another thing. So ultimately the goal is to have commercial use of the dinar in country for commercial use and digitally. And I think that's why you'll find that some of these people out there in Iraq are being vocal. Some of them are wanting to hit the streets and demonstrate. And it's even the educated. It's the highly educated, the teachers and such, that are talking about, hey, we know what we expect. We know what's going on. And we know what is supposed to have happened. They probably have a good idea of what the legal aspect is of the budget. Remember the budget, the 23, 24, 25 budget, tripartite budget for investment? They haven't exposed it yet, have they? Well, why not? Well, probably because it has an exchange rate sensitivity to it. So everybody be patient and let's see what these guys say, because they literally are talking in the last couple of days. And basically the general situation of the country and the service of the living, the rights of the living and the citizens is what their focus is on, is making sure that they have development and prosperity. That's their key. That's one of their key things that they're talking about. And wow, look who showed up, you guys. Look at this big boy. Yeah, Wally. Yeah, look at those beans. They're all black. Okay. Anyway, he still talks, everybody. He's gotten better. He's not doing it at 4:30 in the morning anymore. Not much. I'm knocking on wood. But anyway, I was just saying about Al Sadr and those guys with prosperity and development. Well, the development road project is going to be massive development, and we all know that. Sadr knows that, and he's going to have that on his mind when all those thousands and tens of thousands of jobs come meandering in. Not only for the locals, but also for the foreign investors and foreign people that come in, because they're looking for a better life. The place is going to grow. It's going to be an amazing event, because it's an ancient civilization. They have so much to offer, so it's going to be beautiful. Here's this article they call it salary localization is a requirement. So I'm fairly sure that the Kurdistan region and the Baghdad, they're going to try to localize all their salaries and get that sorted out completely, so that they use blockchain type technology, if you will, to be able to know who's who and where the money's going, and eradicating the double dipping, if you will, the ghost employees, for instance, the double names on the roster for security people and such like that. So they're going to quit that. So, but here in this article, maybe a little bit different, but they're talking about in Suleimania on a date with angry demonstrations. So in Suleimania, they're basically talking about having a date and angry demonstrations. Well, why are they upset? Well, it says the Council of Teachers and Protesting Employees in the Kurdistan region announced on Sunday, the 15th, the readiness to launch a massive demonstration in Suleimania to demand an cessation to obstructing the file of settlement of employees' salaries. You guys realize that the 2023, 2024, 2025 budget, for instance, if that's still what they're working on, I believe it is, but they may have done something a little bit different, but we're going to have to wait and see. But the bottom line is that they're talking about they want their money. Well, they get their money because of the way it's set up, that it has nothing to do with what was going on in the past, because they got their payments via the operational side of the budget, and that's not changed. And they're throwing out articles on a pretty regular basis reminding people of that. But I believe what these guys are talking about is that they have an expectation of getting those electronic cards and getting a new exchange rate applied to those. These folks are educated. They have probably a lot of good understanding of what we're talking about, is that the project to delete the zeros is real, and are they going to follow through with it? And the answer apparently is yes, because they haven't denied it. So ultimately, I think what we're seeing here is that they know that the budget has some requirements that need to be done, and they were probably expecting it yesterday and or today because they're writing about it. The meetings of the Financial Supervisory Board, or the Bureau, in the governments of the region in Baghdad, in Erbil, says they smacked the last nail in the coffin of My Account project. The demonstrators will fill the streets and squares and call on Erbil and Baghdad to settle their salaries. So they're sounding like they want to do this on the 25th of this month. That's not too far off. So we'll see if they even get to that stage. They say that the Kurdistan region employs suggesting the possibility of intervention and benefit of the regional government, especially with the recent clarification issued by the federal Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ordered these guys to take care of business. And I would say that they're talking about that the federal Supreme Court is probably stating that you need to change the value of your currency, and you need to do it quickly, or you should have already done it. I don't know. But it confirms that the decision regarding Emiratization includes all banks approved by the central bank operating in the Kurdistan region. So that what they're doing is they're saying they're going down to the banks. The banks are the ones that are supposed to be releasing this. Have they done it yet? We haven't seen it yet, as of this moment anyway, that I'm doing this. The procedures for the settlement of the salaries of the region's employees are proceeding slowly, contrary to the decision of the federal government or the federal court, and the decisions of the Ministry of Finance, which provided the law provided for the acceleration of the localizations of salaries and their disbursement electronically. And that is the kicker right there, is what they're talking about, is disbursement electronically. And that's why it gives me the view is that when they're dealing with cash, they're talking about what's on the street today. It's 1310. Disbursement electronically is going to be, could very well be different, in the sense that what these folks are talking about demonstrating is you should have already changed the exchange rate. You should have already done it already. That's how I see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm right on that. But again, we just do what we do, the best that we do, what's in print. And with them talking about disbursement electronically, they're talking about doing financing commercial projects digitally. Well, you're going to have an internationally acceptable currency to go onto the Forex. So these things that we've been talking about the last 3 days are really powerful, because they're really telling us a story, and it's a good story. The article shows that federal court decision is in respect to salaries are to be localized, and their disbursement is to be done electronically, so focus on that. The decision is to help accelerate the process, not hinder it. So the folks they're mad. They're like, oh, come on, we've been putting up with this long enough. Let's get this ball rolling. The citizens know what to expect, and they have confirmed it and are openly upset about it. The pressure is now on the Finance Ministry, Central Bank of Iraq, al-Sudani, and it wouldn't surprise me if this topic of what I just mentioned was discussed with al-Sadr. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised, because the man knows and has his pulse on what al-Sudani does. I think those two guys are they're seemingly to be a fairly good team together. So the next thing is what an article called Hot Session in Parliament. Public amnesty and personal status under the microscope. So what I liked about this article was an interesting point that it talks about, is that it says it's one of the important laws that were discussed. Now realize today, if I don't go over it, but I do know that they adjourned their session today and are going to have it again tomorrow. But they said they had general amnesty law and its amendments emerged along with the vote on the rent of agricultural land, bill and proposals to amend the personal status law. Says the general amnesty law and its amendments is one of the most prominent laws that the council will put forward today. especially the Article 4, which relates to the definition of belonging to terrorist organizations. So anyway, what I think about when I think about this is that they only mention that it says it's one of the most prominent. So could the budget law have been in play today? Did they postpone it till tomorrow? I don't know. We're going to find out. But obviously, I believe that they had a personal status law. They had other things on the session, but they don't talk about the budget law, which is really what I believe the citizens in that last article are talking about. Because if there's a rate, remember 4782 hasn't been disclosed. Well, why? Because we believe it's most likely has to do with the budget. It could have to do with the budget that has an exchange rate. It could have issues with the hydrocarbon law. It can a lot of that stuff. And you know everybody that it has those things haven't been exposed. Just like the oil going from Turkey, from Kurdistan through Turkey outside into the world. Why haven't they done that? I think we're going to find out that I've been right. Not necessarily just me, but we've been right. A lot of people have been right that it's got exchange rate sensitivity to it. The budget does. Or why would they hide 4782 for so long? I think they're on 4792, 93 even now. So there's got to be a reason for them to hide it. Mandelawi chairs an expanded meeting with the head of the government committee regarding the implementation of Article 140. That's the hydrocarbon law, folks. It says here the completed stages of the implementing Article 140 in cooperation with the ministries and relevant authorities. So it looks like they've got it ready to, they've completed the stages for implementing. It says of implementing Article 140. Does it say it's complete specifically? No, but they're at that stage of the completion part of it. And what are they going to need for that? They're going to need to be able to value the assets, you guys. and they're not going to value their assets at 1310. I just don't see it. I don't see any good argument for it either. But anyway, I always could be wrong. It says here the council is keen to legislate laws that would lift the injustice from the citizens who were harmed by the decisions of the dissolved Revolutionary Command Council and unjust policies of the defunct regime. So they're talking about the past. It says doing justice to the oppressed by restoring their usurped rights. I would say, when you have rights, what are those? Those are from the Constitution. Contributes to strengthening security, political, and social stability. So they're telling you what benefit are they going to have if they can get their usurped rights, if they can get their constitutional rights. Well, they're going to get some purchasing power for one. So it looks like right now they've completed these stages of implementing Article 140, so they're ready to go towards the end. It's about time. I think it's the right time as well, to be fair. And it's also just in time for Alak, central bank governor, to finish his job, his reform process. So let's see how this goes. And what's the next one? Iraq, close to opening the largest steel plant in Basra. Not terribly important, but it's kind of it's noteworthy to know that Iraq is going to have a massive income stream, many different revenue streams, and one of them is going to be, I think a lot of you guys are pretty smart out there, know about inputs and outputs, but in this particular case, steel is going to be something that they're going to need to rebuild their country, the reconstruction of it, whether it's bridges, whether it's buildings, whether it's housing. It's going to need steel, rebar, concrete, all those things. And this company is going to be able to produce all that because they have the raw materials to do so. Then they're also going to be able to have the ability to export that to other countries of the world. And that is why they're talking about it now. And I think that's going to be very powerful. It says here the next article I've got is about the barcodes. Yeah, electronic encryption that closes the routine gap. What are they talking about? They're talking about the barcode. They go on to talk about the birth of the idea, the identification. They talk about, QR codes, the difference between, what is a QR code? It's a quick response code. What the barcode is, the differences, actual appearance of them. What are the simple features? It's quite a long article, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll let you guys read it. You can find that in patreon.com/MMANDCREW and enjoy. And it's going to be public, it's in the Patreon. But effectively, every article, you guys, that I talk about is most often in Patreon with my analysis, or not always, but most often, I give up an opinion on it. But every article, just about every article that's in our Discord chat room is from Samson, who brings it regularly. I don't think she misses a day, if ever, even on vacation. Okay, she loves what she does, I guess, big time. Basically, they're talking about here, work is reduced administrative congestion in institutions. That's what they're talking about. It does. And in addition to all the other things that it does, it says that to be moving away from paper transactions and closing outlets for illicit gain and forgery. So the barcodes is part of their system that is just going to be a part of their digital transformation. Barcode, QR code is going to be part of that transformation. It's important for businesses, and I'll get into that. Basically, there's blockchains and other high technologies that Iraq's going to be using. They're going to be a part of in the future. We see the likes of JP Morgan dealing with XRP today. We know that JP Morgan's involved in Iraq. We know JP Morgan's involved with the Buna platform. We know that the technologies is a facilitator for doing currency transactions with about every asset class there is on the planet, maybe every one. So obviously there's a lot of good news out about the blockchain. They're openly talking about artificial intelligence. They're talking about blockchain in Iraq. They're talking about all of these things. They're talking about being the savior of the global financial system, if you will. If you remember when al-Sudani talked about to the UN, who was at the meetings in Davos? JP Morgan with who? Al-Sudani, right? You can't make this stuff up. So the power that's behind all this of the global initiative to bring back Iraq into the fold of the world financial system is definitely 100%, in my view, in front of us as we speak. And just as an FYI, I pulled up a little bit of information about barcode. I think a couple of the people in our room, I think I know one particular member, she's dealt with this stuff, I think, for probably 40 years. Hopefully, Meta, I hope you're out there. Thank you for all your help, your work. It's been a pleasure knowing you. So anyway, barcodes, QR codes are important in international business because they help product tracking, supply chain management, and more. So what is that about? Isn't that something that some of these things that they'll be talking about is because of the World Trade Organization? Iraq's having a session at some point in time. I mean, they've met all their requirements, so we just haven't seen it yet. Is that because they haven't exposed their Article 8 compliant yet to the world with a new currency exchange rate? Well, my guess is that's probably why they haven't done it yet. Once they do, will they have an announcement like they talked about? We'll find out. Barcodes, QR codes help businesses track products from manufacturers to consumers, which helps ensure product quality and integrity. Supply chain management, so barcodes, QR codes help businesses supply their supply chains more efficiently with inventory management, restocking, warehouse costs. I like this one. Barcodes and QR codes are standardized to ensure that they can be scanned and interpreted consistently across different devices and countries. Okay, so I won't get into all of them, but when I say devices and countries, then the World Trade Organization stuff really kind of makes it, brings it to the forefront, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what it does. At least for me, it does. Oil products, a move to generalize payments by electronic cards and governance. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this one up at the end is because, look, they are going to, in a digital transformation, they're going to a less cash society. And one of the biggest, products that a country uses is fuel. to get back and forth to work, fuel to mine gold, fuel to mine sulfur, fuel to mine everything. They need fuel for tankers. They need fuel for all the stuff, for heating. They need gas, fuel for producing electricity. So now all the payments are going digital and they're doing it electronically. So you could probably get an idea and say, well, man, couldn't they just like for every one of those transactions, because all the people, eventually they're going to have to use their cash to put it in their bank, and then the central bank can basically pull that out of the system. Because why? Because they're using digital cards. So all that fuel, they can sop up all that money. You kind of get it? They can sop up all those 000 notes. They've been doing it since 2018. So you can see how the digital transformation is coming around. It's pretty big. It's pretty cool. Anyway, the electronic payment is one of the pillars of the government program, and the oil products distribution companies played a role in it by using it to fill fuel and purchase its products by citizens. It's amazing. Work is ongoing to enhance the electronic payment file by adding full automation to the distribution sector. They're looking at going full automation to one of the largest segments of product in the world. Oh, well, in their world anyway, I should say. Basically, it says oil products distribution company is the first government company to initiate electronic payment as it began the trial operation back in 2023. And once it was completed, it was launched in all governments. So they basically got it, the trial operation was completed, and then they've now launched it in all governments. So it says they feel at least by the end of this year it should be completed, based up by the plans that they have drawn up in equipping all fuel stations with electronic payment devices and ending cash. Now, at that part, ending cash transactions. So eventually, you might not be able to buy fuel without having a credit card or a debit card or whatever card, okay, in their country. I'm not so sure they will do that here because, you know, we have the lottery and everybody needs a few bucks for cash to pay for that. So this is probably not going to happen. But anyway, that was just being light. Hey, you guys, what a night. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's Monday. Let's go see what happens. As my daughter said when she was a little girl, about 3 or 4 years old, she'd go football. So I think that the Eagles and the Falcons, I love birds as much as cats. So hopefully that it's a good game tonight. Everybody enjoy. If you like my content, hit the subscribe. And okay, you guys, and you know that, you know what, we have PayPal, we have Zelle, and we have Venmo. All your guys' donations, small and large, are appreciated. It keeps the lights on. It keeps everybody doing what we do because we can do it, because everybody does have other part of their lives. So it's really important. Thank you very much for everybody. I appreciate it. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.